From some playoff teams being eliminated to other unexpected teams making it in, this week's NFL Week 18 recap is going to be a good one. So, guys, let's jump right in. Just to recap, our lock of the week, Saints -3 against the Falcons, hit for 48-17. Easy cover, guys. First half was looking a little rough for us, but the Saints ended up getting it together. Derek Carr kept it rolling, just like I said, guys. Falcons quarterback play ended up throwing 2 interceptions, fumbles, and it was just a good pick for us this week. So let's go ahead and get right into it, guys. Let's go ahead and start off with the Saturday games. We had Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. And Ravens sat their starters. Lamar didn't play. Zay Flowers didn't play. Some of the big names on defense didn't play, guys. And Pittsburgh ended up getting a good win, 17-10. They had that Deontay Johnson 71-yard touchdown that really kind of blew the game open for them. Ravens just couldn't really get anything going on offense, which is expected with the second strings going in there. I know Snoop Huntley is one of the more popular, better second-string quarterbacks in the league, but he just couldn't really get anything going in the elements against that Steelers defense. And Steelers actually ended up sneaking into the playoffs with that win because the Jacksonville Jaguars lost this week against the Tennessee Titans, which kicked the Jags out the playoffs, but we'll get to that later. The second Saturday game that we'll be talking about is Houston Texans versus the Colts. Me personally, I'm a Colts fan, so this one's going to suck to talk about, guys. But Houston got a good win, 23-19. I know we all saw the replay of Tyler Goodson's last play. They take out JT, their best player by far, I think, on both sides of the ball, and put in Tyler Goodson maybe for a distraction, and ended up not paying it off, guys. Minshew threw a ball that was kind of behind him. Goodson couldn't make the catch on the 4th and 1, and they lose the game because of it. But C.J. Stroud, guys, great rookie season, 20 of 26 for 264 and 2 touchdowns. And first play of the game for the Houston Texans offense, 75-yard touchdown pass to Nico Collins just to really set the tone for the day. JT had a great game, 30 carries, 188 yards, and a touchdown, but just couldn't get the job done, guys. With that Tyler Goodson play on that last 4th and 1, it was a heartbreaker, and the Colts really should have been in position to win that game, or at least been in a first down situation to keep going and chugging to the end zone, but couldn't make the play. That's how NFL football goes, guys. Stayed away from that game betting-wise, strictly because I knew that Texans team was a good one and didn't want my heart to help me pick the Colts, and Houston ended up covering in that one as well. The next game we have is the Lions win 30-20, and they have already clinched the NFC North. But big keys from this game, guys. Lions could have locked in the 2 seed with the win in a Dallas loss versus the Commanders. Lions played it risky, hoping for a Dallas loss, which you can't blame them. Anything can happen. The NFL is a week-to-week league, guys, and this week just didn't pan out for the Lions. They had some big injuries. Sam Laporta, as you guys saw, probably that knee injury looked pretty serious, was ruled out for the game. Probably going to miss some playoff time depending on the severity of the injury. Praying that he recovers quickly, praying that he gets back, because what an electric rookie. I think he broke a few rookie receiving tight end records. So that's a big loss for the Detroit offense. But Jared Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown connection still looks good, guys. On the Viking side, they have Nick Mullins at quarterback again, and damn near threw for 400 yards again, which makes you question even more the decision last week by Kevin O'Connell to put in Jaren Hall. And then Nick Mullins comes in the second half and just absolutely walks right down the field. And this week also, I know he throws some interceptions, but the dude's a gunslinger. You can't really take that from him. He put him in a position to be in the game. Couldn't really get anything going in the first half. JJ had another great game, as he always does. Justin Jefferson this year, guys, I think is the 3rd player in NFL history to only play 10 games and still get 1,000 yards receiving. Dude missed 7 games and still got 1,000 yards this year. I think that really speaks to how great of a player that he is. I think it really speaks to how awesome of a receiver he is, best receiver in the league in my opinion. And he's going to be electric every single year, in and out. And hopefully next year they can get either Kirk Cousins back or figure out that quarterback situation, get him a little bit more stability in that area. The next game we're looking at, guys, the Jaguars against the Tennessee Titans, a division game, winning you're in situation for the Jags against I believe a 5 or 6 win now Titans team, and Jags just could not get it done. Offense struggled the whole entire day. They had the one big play to Ridley in the first half, but other than that, really no explosive plays. And Trevor Lawrence, guys, I don't know if it's because of the injury. I know that he's dealing with the shoulder injury from last week, but he just has not looked like warranted of that number 1 overall pick, guys. And I like Trevor Lawrence. I'm a Colts fan, so naturally I root against the Jaguars, but I root against the Titans also. But I like Trevor Lawrence personally as a player. I think he's a good quarterback. I just think that he doesn't seem to come through in big situations for them. I know that last year they were down big in the playoff game, I believe 28-0 at the half. He threw 4 interceptions in one half, came back and won the game against the Chargers, but Chargers will find a way to lose any game, so we can't let that fool us. And disappointing day for the Jaguars, guys. Definitely an inferior team in the Tennessee Titans and just still couldn't get it done winning your in situation. That's got to be a heartbreaker. But they're always looking forward to next season, I guess. Jumping back to the NFC, we had the Buccaneers against the Carolina Panthers. And in a very lackluster game, to say the least, Buccaneers win 9-0 against the Panthers in this one, guys. And not going to lie, I couldn't watch the game too much. Very boring. No offense was generated on either side. Lots of 3-and-outs, lots of sloppy play. I guess the one highlight of this game is that Antoine Winfield on that great tackle, forced fumble at the goal line. And not going to lie, we had the Buccaneers money line as a play this week. So that was good from Antoine Winfield. Probably got snubbed on the Pro Bowl this year. Buda Baker makes it in over him. I know that there was a bunch of stats screaming Antoine Winfield should have been in the Pro Bowl this year, guys, but at the end of the day, it really is a popularity contest in the most case. And sucks to hear, but not really too big or whatever on the Bucs, so it doesn't really bother me too much. But thank you, Antoine Winfield, for making that play, and you're a Pro Bowler in my eyes. You're my Pro Bowler. So thank you for that. We're going to jump back over to the AFC now, guys. We had the Jets win 17-3 in what might be Bill Belichick's last game in New England, guys. Obviously, no one knows what's going to happen in that situation. They keep a pretty tight-knit group over there in New England. And I'm not too sure how to feel about it, guys. Obviously, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT head coach, in my opinion. 6 Super Bowls and in a 20-year span with Tom Brady. And, I mean, that will never be replicated again, guys. I don't think that will ever be replicated again. And whether you want to give the credit to Brady, whether you want to give the credit to Belichick, there's credit to be given on both sides, guys. I mean, the Patriots won a Super Bowl 13-10 against the Rams. So, I mean, do you want to give that one to Brady or do you want to give that one to Belichick? I'll let you decide either way. Might be Bill Belichick's last game. If I'm Bill, I want out of New England. So I'm not going to be upset if they come to me Monday morning. If Robert Kraft comes up to me, hey, Bill, let's have a talk, and tells me that they want to move on. I think that Belichick wants to get that Shula record. He wants to go for that most wins by a head coach in NFL history. And I think it would be a faster route for him to get there if he got out of New England, guys. And I know they locked in a great pick. They want to go get Caleb Williams. They want to go get Drake May, Jaden Daniels, whoever you want to put over there, guys. If Bill Belichick's there, somehow they'll end up with like a Joe Alt player or something, a tackle, and completely blow the pick again, which is the only criticism I have of Bill Belichick is his recent years as a GM. I don't think he set himself up as a head coach to have the best success, which plays on to him as well. Because if you want to be head coach and GM, guys, you got to be good at both. Because if you're not good at one, the other department is going to suffer. So if you're not hitting on your draft picks, it's going to be hard to coach a team without great talent. I know Christian Gonzalez was a good pick this year. Probably the best rookie corner to come out of the draft. But, I mean, an unfortunate injury and put him out for the season. So that's just how the NFL goes, guys. We're going to move on to the next one. We had the Packers win 17-9 over the Bears to secure a wild card berth. And sorry, Seahawks fans, that one puts you out of the playoffs, guys. And I'd rather see the Packers in the playoffs anyway, to be honest. We have Jay Love in that game. He went 27 of 32 for 316 and 2 touchdowns. Jay Love has been absolutely balling here lately, guys. Picked him up in fantasy right before he kind of went on this run, so I think I've been following him closer than maybe a lot of people. But Jordan Love has really, really been balling lately, guys. Another great game. Another game where I had a prop ticket in, guys, on an Aaron Jones touchdown, and I swear that he's put up maybe 800 consecutive yards without a touchdown. I mean, they give him the ball, and he just balls out for him all game. Also runs the rock hard, catches the ball out of the backfield, but just cannot seem to get into the end zone for whatever reason. It is what it is. That was just a nice little, like, 1% of the bankroll that you throw on the anytime TDs on the prop tickets, guys. You don't really want to put a big bag on that, but that's besides the point. Justin Fields might be his last game in Chicago. I know that it was emotional on the sideline at the end of the game. I seen coaches and players surrounding him, talking him up, and he seemed to not really know what his future is going to be. Me personally, I think that he's a decent quarterback. I think that he's better than a rookie quarterback would be coming out of the draft. You heard DJ Moore talking greatly about him. You hear defensive players coming on interviews talking greatly about Justin Fields. And so maybe you just want to keep him there. Me personally, I think that you can't have the first pick in the draft 2 years in a row, have bad seasons, and not pick a quarterback. I would like to see Justin Fields go somewhere. I heard a lot of rumors about him going to Seattle, which I think would be fun. You'd have a lot of weapons over there, Lockett, Metcalf, and Jigba. And I think that could be a fun offense. Depends. I mean, I don't think Justin Fields is ever going to be an elite quarterback. I know that he's a dual-threat quarterback, and I think that's where I cap him out at. But a good dual-threat quarterback, to say the least. And I think that he would put the Seahawks in maybe a better position to win. So now we're going to jump over to another NFC game with another playoff team included. And the Giants beat the Eagles 27-10, guys. Eagles, I don't know really what they had their starters in for to begin the game. I guess they were also rooting for the Cowboys to lose against the Commanders, which is just a tough bet. And A.J. Brown out early with a leg or knee injury. I'm not too sure exactly. I don't want to put out misinformation, guys. But that's a big injury. If they go into the playoffs without A.J. Brown, how this offense has looked recently, I mean, I don't think they'll be able to get it going with or without him, honestly. I think they might be a one-and-done playoff team this year. They just look like they lost it, guys. Even when they were winning, even when they had 11 wins, I think they were 11-3 at one point, they just didn't look like the team that they were last year, guys. They didn't really win any big games this year. There was no blowouts. Jalen Hurts just does not seem to have it this year. I know we set the in-season record of rushing touchdowns with Josh Allen this year, guys, but when you're getting 15 one-yard rush touchdowns, it just doesn't really move the needle for me. It doesn't really impress me in any way. The tush push, I mean, it's a good play for the Eagles, but it's not fun to watch. So, I mean, I think Jalen Hurts' numbers in the rushing game are inflated in that area because if you look at the yards, touchdowns, it doesn't add up, guys. They ended up taking out Hurts in that game, though. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but at one play, he threw the ball, hit his hand off a defensive lineman's helmet, and it looked like he broke his middle finger pretty badly. His finger was, popped out of place. It looked nasty. I hate seeing things like that. And you got to feel for the Eagles because if they're going into it without A.J. Brown, with a Jalen Hurts middle finger on the throwing hand that just doesn't, the playoffs just don't seem like a good destination for them right now. And whether or not they can beat, who did they play? Let's see. They played Tampa Bay. So, I think their best game of the year this year, their biggest win margin was against Tampa Bay. So, if there's any team they probably want to play in the playoffs right now, I would say it's Tampa. Maybe Green Bay is another team, but, they should have a decent chance against Tampa. I'm sure they'll be favored. That might be a good underdog cover. But we'll put out the picks for next week in a later video, guys, later this week. And to cap it up, guys, we're gonna go to the Cowboys win 38-10 over the Commanders. They secure the NFC East. CeeDee Lamb once again just absolutely dominates, guys. I don't know if there's a better connection in right now in football other than Dak and CD. You could say Tua and Tyreek, but I mean, CD has just been absolutely going crazy. Lost in this fantasy championship this year because of CD Lamb. So shout out CD for that. Thank you. Um, Cowboys are an interesting team to talk about because they seem to go in and play these bad teams and they blow them out. Yesterday, 38-10, guys, against the Commanders. And I think they beat them 40 to something to 10 in the first time they played earlier this season. So, I mean, Cowboys against inferior opponents just absolutely dominate. But when you go into the playoffs, you're not playing teams that are just tomato cans, right? So they're playing the Packers next week, and I mean, the Packers have been rolling, guys. I know that this Joe Barry defense on the Packers doesn't really get too much love out there, Jordan Love. But I mean, they held the Bears to 9. They've been holding teams to low points lately, guys, and I think that'll be a good game. I think people will be throwing money on the Cowboys, and I think that it might be a closer game than people are thinking. Don't want to forget about the Sunday night game, guys. Bills beat the Dolphins, and they lock in the AFC East. So good for them. But I mean, Josh Allen, another fumble lost, two interceptions in the end zone. You don't know what you're getting from him on a week-to-week basis, guys. You don't know if you're going to get the Josh Allen that throws for 450 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick, and maybe another rushing touchdown. And you don't know if you're going to get the Josh Allen that goes 10 of 24 for 115 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. And it's just hard to count on the Bills, guys, week in and week out. This was a game that I stayed away from betting-wise. I probably would have taken the Dolphins with the points, and good thing I stayed away. But, I mean, you never know what you're going to get from this Bills team. So it's just an absolute roller coaster. I mean, you're riding the Josh Allen roller coaster, guys, if you want to go on the Bills. They host the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first round of the playoffs. And, I mean, that's a winnable game for sure. That Pittsburgh offense just doesn't really seem to have it. So you could go in there and get an easy win against the Steelers. I do predict that they'll beat the Steelers. But, I mean, when you get to that second round, guys, I just don't know who they could beat that could win in the first round. I don't see any team on here that I would feel comfortable against them beating in the second round. I mean, unless you – I don't know. I don't know what the matchups could be, so I don't want to get into all that. But, I mean – I think the Steelers will play them tough. I think the Steelers defense will have success against that Bills offense, honestly. But I do think the Bills will probably find a way to win that game. But, I mean, from week in to week out, you just don't know what Bills team you're getting, and that scares me. So, I mean, them going into the playoffs is great. They got home field, which is great. But, I mean, I don't know if I count on them too much in the playoffs this year, guys. And just to kind of do a quick little summary of what's going on in the playoffs now. We had the Ravens and the AFC lock up the bye, so you guys know that they're sitting out that first wild card weekend. We have the Bills hosting the Steelers, as I said. We have the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Miami Dolphins. That'll be fun. Tyreek back in Kansas City. I know they played earlier, I believe, in Germany this year, and he didn't have a great game. He had that one play behind the line on the screen that he got absolutely blown up for the fumble 6. So that'll be a fun game to see him back in Kansas City, though. We have the Texans hosting the Cleveland Browns, which is an interesting game. And on the NFC side, we're going to jump over. We have San Francisco with the bye. We have the 2-seed Dallas Cowboys hosting the Green Bay Packers. The 3-seed Detroit Lions hosting the Rams, which will be a fun game, too. We have Matt Stafford back in Detroit. It would just be absolute destiny for the Detroit fans to lose to Matt Stafford in the first round. That just seems like it's the Lions' luck. They play a game yesterday where they don't necessarily need to play their starters, lose one of their key components on the offensive side in Sam Laporta, and their luck would be the next week to lose to the quarterback that they ended up sending away to the Rams. And Then we have the Bucks hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think we got some good matchups next week. I'll put out my picks and stuff in a later video this week. Uh, just to kind of go back to that point, guys, I put out the Saints before the game -3. It was the biggest win margin of the weekend, guys. You're gonna want to follow when I put these picks in. Um, if you want to make money sports betting, if you don't want to do it on your own and you want maybe another opinion, I do a lot of research on these games, guys. I'm not just putting out picks just to put out picks or whatever. I'm putting my money on these picks as well. So, I mean, I have every motivation to want to win also. So you don't have to worry about that. And we'll have that video later this week. But, guys, just to recap, this week 18, I know we had a lot of games that didn't really mean anything. I know we had a lot of games like the Chiefs versus the Chargers, guys, where they just have second stringers playing back and forth. I think the game ended 13-10 or something like that. Not very exciting this weekend. But next week we got the first round of the playoffs, which is going to be great. I think we're in for a great week of football. I'm going to see you guys later this week. Have a good one.